Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Spiritual Unity Radio Network, a station dedicated to the concept that all manifestations of the divine are equally valid. Join Reverend Terry Power HP, Robin McKean, and all the hosts for programming covering a wide range of spiritual topics, right here on Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to an emerging forest, a safe place where we have the freedom to think about life without judgment. We take a look at society, we examine it, and we allow for the possibility of something new, something different. And now, here's your host, Alan Ritter.
Welcome, everyone, to this 14th of January 2018 show. This is an emerging forest, and this is our second episode with my wonderful guest, Laurie Cagno, singer-songwriter. But before we get into that, I would just like to once again voice my appreciation to the owner of the station, Terry Power, and his partner, Robin McKean, for allowing me to have this space to meet new people, to give them a platform to meet all of you, and to basically pull ourselves up or pull ourselves outward. There is no up, and to become more acquainted with ourselves and more acquainted with everyone and better at what we do. So without further delays, hi, Laurie, how are you?
Hi, Alan, I'm fine, thank you. Nice to meet you again on the radio.
nice to meet you as well. And also, David Whitman is here, live from West Philadelphia.
Nice. Hi, David.
Yeah.
Hi, Laurie.
As opposed to any other condition of someone in West Philadelphia.
Right.
So, we're just going to sort of pick up where we left off the last time. Well, we can hardly do that because so much has happened between. I mean, David and I were wearing top hats and walking around on green screens. And
I love it.
And he was sitting there and holding across from me, watching little snippets of another production that we were on. That's actually going to be broadcast on CNN in a few months. And the gentleman who was the sort of the anchor point advertising all of these various shows was I was just sitting there going like, oh my God, James Earl Jones is advertising a show that I'm going to be in. Oh my God.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
It's just like you just sit there and you go, really? Really?
Right.
Very cool. Looking forward to it.
So that's just and actually that show, which is called Pope, the most powerful man in the world, was the production where I met fellow Cardinal emulator, David Whitman. So
okay.
all more interesting, more interesting.
Nice.
And it's so funny because acting is a job where you get this impossible ticket. You get to go somewhere and see something and be part of something that you couldn't pay to get a spectator seat. You actually have to do it in order to actually get that ticket and see the things that we saw. So that when the show, I mean, David has already seen a scene. David has already seen a scene that was published by the director of photography, and his face is in the scene, and he knows what the scene was. They say he's sitting there looking at himself. He's looking at himself in this production that's going to come out, and it was funny because I met a whole bunch of really interesting characters who were all dressed up as cardinals. And we have a cardinal contact list that I put together of all the people that were cardinals, and we message each other, and I think we're actually going to have a little party when that comes out so we can watch it together.
Oh, you got to do that, absolutely. Well, I look forward to hearing that. And what's it going to be? What's it called again? It's a series?
It's called Pope the Most Powerful Man that lived, or the most powerful man on earth, and I think it's going to be broadcast sometime around Easter.
Interesting.
And it's going to be a mini series broadcast on CNN.
Oh boy, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Love it. So you enjoyed the acting? Did you enjoy acting?
It's fun. There's no dialogue. It's a lot of improv because these are historical shows, so it's a lot of it that we are told what the scene involves, and it looks as if we're having a conversation in some cases, but we're just, it's not being recorded. So it's a lot of movements and gestures.
I'm sure you look incredible.
Thank you.
Well, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. I love to act. I do love that too.
Especially, we look incredible. But we're.
I'm sure you do. You look handsome. I love the photos. Yep.
So yeah. You saw those. You saw those photos.
I love the photo. Yes, I wanted you. Of course, I wanted to see you smile all the time because you have such a great smile. But I got it. It was a serious thing. Yeah. It was very
good
serious. For you guys. That's great. Okay.
So. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to ask everyone, first, this is a call-in show. Please call in. The number is 646-564-9714. And second of all, Laurie is going to be using her website, which is LaurieCagno, LaurieCagno.com. She's going to be reading and telling stories.
Yep.
Yeah, she's going to be reading and telling stories from that website. So if you want to switch over, you the listener want to switch over to that website, you can follow along on what on the parts of the show that she goes to that website for. So
it's actually sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Alan.
Go ahead.
It's actually Laurie is Laurie. Okay, Cagno, Cagno. That's okay. It's okay. So it's LaurieCagno.com.
I left out the E.
You forgot the E. That's okay.
Oh,
I'm sure it would come up anyway. I'm sure it would come up that way.
All right.
That's fine. Nope, not at all. Yeah. So I, I'm just I'm going through my website. I know last time we talked, we were talking about, you'd asked my process and such and my experiences, and because I'm not 20 years old, I definitely have twice that on me. I have I started out as any normal creative young person in high school, and then went to William Patterson College, and after that I was in a couple of different bands, and my college band, I'm just reminding us, my college band was, we voted, and the title of the band was called Love All People. And then 2 years later, I moved to Las Vegas, and I asked my grandmother where I could go to church or plug into a church somewhere. And she said, hey, there's a musical group called Love All People. It was a ministry, and wanted to check them out. So I went to the Hacienda. I thought, Love All People and Love All People. I think that means something. And so I did go to there, and it was a group of we're some troubled teens and some wonderful people, mentors and leaders in the music industry. People had taken some young people under their wing, if you will, and under their wings, and we traveled the country. I traveled with them for a couple of years, about 3 years. And I got some road experience there with some gospel music, which was fantastic. I loved it. And from there, I moved back to New Jersey, and I started, in and out of bands to write songs, And so this is where the original music started to come in. And so I have 2 CDs. One is called Dancing Cantos, and one is called Dreams Keep Asking to Dance. The local musicians in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, all got together, and they were fantastic, and they were definitely, we all pulled together, and at that time we just, we went to the studio, pulled it together, and studio musicians then went on the road, and then I had also live musicians that were, we all developed the music along the way. So, and from there, you keep going. I mean, you don't just stop. You have to keep, you keep writing, and as an artist, you keep reinventing yourself, I guess. Although I don't like that word, but it's okay. I think we go through a lot of transitioning, and as we do in life, and my spiritual eyes seem to open more and more. And you said something interesting before in the introduction here. There's no up. There's just outward. That the station, what I love about the radio station, Spiritual Unity Radio, I'm intrigued by the, the fact that, let me see where it says, all manifestations of the divine are equally valid. And so thus, you made a comment, Alan, about how there's no up, but outward, that you're appreciative to the owners, that we could bring out the best. I suppose that's what you were saying, is that we bring out the best in each other, which is something I always hope that would be the experience that we have with each other. But can you elaborate on that a little bit for me as well? Because, my songs are all, they are spiritually based. I feel as though they're all gifts, and that they're spiritually born first, born in the spirit and then come to me. But I know they come from within me, but I'm a little confused about the up and the out and the inward and, that kind of thing.
So the society that we came from, or the society that is the dominant society right now, is a society of morals. And it's a society that says so-and-so is more esteemed than other so-and-so.
Yeah.
So I am constantly catching myself looking at the judgments that I still have. And when I come out with something that is along the lines of such and such is superior to another such and such, I like to make an example of myself for the listeners and also for myself, because there's various models about what you could think about where we live. And the one model, the model that is most prevalent right now, is that we live on a ball. And the ball allows for there to be people that we know and then people that are alien, and allows for one to be afraid of people that are alien, and allows one to think, oh, that the people that are alien are evil. So there's that model, and that model brings a lot of, is the foundation for a lot of present-day thought. It's the dominant way of thinking. But the way, or a different way, and the way I'm actually trying to coach myself to think is that everything is on the plane.
Right.
So I don't believe in a flat Earth. But I just look at the change in my perspective about other people, about other activities. If I say, everything is on the plane, that means that the person next to me is having an experience to satisfy their self and their building of the next piece of themselves. So, so they are satisfying their self, a.k.a. their God. At the same time, I'm satisfying myself. I'm satisfying my God. So there's two very diverse gods, because there's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, and those two lusts or passions for experience are both driven by an equivalent being who wants experience. Now, let's say, for instance, the present experience wishes to destroy an ecosystem. One can't judge that and say that's evil, because there are people who are being satiated by that experience. So that's being driven by a set. That's being driven by a set of gods who want that experience. Now, if, for instance, myself, I'd like a more fertile ecosystem, I can't say to my, let's say I have a bunch of followers. I can't say to my followers, God is on our side, and we should smite the evil ones who wish death upon the ecosystem, because they're having an experience that they need for their God, and we would only be having an experience that would be on the plane for our God. So what it comes down to is saying, I'm not right, they're not wrong. I have to take personal responsibility for what I am trying to do, and I have to take personal responsibility for the outcomes of my action. If you and I look at, with this perspective, with this, I mean, I basically look at the different perspectives as being different operating systems or different mathematics that you can operate with. And you can say, I'm going to put myself down inside of an operating system that allows me to point at another person and say, they're evil, therefore we can smite them. If you put yourself down inside of the responsibility system, you would look at that person and say, they're nuts. But they're not nuts. They're just using a different operating system.
That's where they're at. Right. That's where everybody.
So basically, they are literally living within the good and evil, justice and injustice system. It's an operating system. It's a perspective, and you can choose whether you want to live inside that system or not.
Right. Okay. I see. Okay. Well, I choose to live in the system of love. So I gotta break it down. I understand that, and I appreciate that, your input on that. I definitely
all of the systems are helping souls build themselves.
Right. Everybody is where they're at.
And they all exist within the system of love, because that's what they're doing. They're helping to build.
That's right.
I mean, I didn't I didn't point to one and say wrong. I pointed to them and said, "This is." So what I'm interested in is interested in going on it. I'm interested in saying my journey, my wish to go on my journey is a valid wish, and I should go on my journey. I shouldn't say to myself, my journey is an invalid perspective.
Right.
I can neither say that my way or the highway. I can't say that, and I also can't say. I have to shut up.
Right.
But what I can say to myself is I can say to myself, I need to be responsible for what I do.
That's right. Okay, gotcha. How about you, David?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing we're not taught enough of, I mean, I guess it's two things. Really not taught enough about self-love. I think that there's a big lack of lack of our own, compassion with ourselves. We're very hard on ourselves.
That's right.
We
absolutely
from very early age.
Right.
And I think that the larger question, though, that I think everyone wrestles with, because it's really a hard thing to define. Everyone has their own definition. Is what is love? What is love? There's so many different kinds of love. Ranging from parental love to your love of your partner to Hallmark greeting card love, and there's love that can be very very dangerous. Very it's. And I believe that it's a word that has a much wider definition than many people want to give it, because it's so encompassing, and it's not always flowers and hearts. I mean, it can be painful. It can also be very liberating. It can also be very consuming. It can so there's so many things about it. But I believe that self-love is something that we, as a culture, it's. And I see it, working with people in coaching or and things, because people are just, I just never, ask people to give themselves a hug and watch the weird expressions you get. And so people think to give yourself a hug, because it's showing appreciation for you, for who you are, and how, because at the end of the day, we are ourselves, and we can be with a partner, or we could be with family, or it could be whomever, but at the end of the day, we are ourselves, but we can't become another person. That's another thing I think that happens in relationships, is that we're kind of taught, it seems, that, find someone who completes you, or find, someone you can lose yourself in, but that's where love becomes dangerous. Yeah, it's a trap. It's a huge trap.
I agree. It's an illusion. It's not real.
You have to love yourself.
Because you gotta live. Yeah, you gotta live with yourself.
Right.
Exactly. You gotta live with yourself.
Well, the perspective is defined by finally understanding that you're completely alone with your perspectives and the echoes of your own perspectives. And that everyone else is trying, you're trying with the echoes off of quote unquote everyone else to grow. And you meet all these other people. You meet all these other people who are doing the same thing.
Right.
And you and the first thing you're doing is you're saying me, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs, and you don't get very much growth done because you're being dominant. And the more you learn to shut your mouth and listen, quieter you become, and the more other people can get through.
Right.
And then the final lesson that you learn is women are smarter than you are, and listen to and always listen to women.
You have learned very well.
Because women are flowers. Women are flowers. And there's only one of them. There's only one of them. And if you hurt one, they all know it.
Oh.
But men are bees just buzzing around, trying to have a reason to be.
Oh, men and women, they're great. Both are good. It's again, relationships, it can be complicated, and we all need each other to nurture and love each other. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just, I wish it was easier, but it takes time. My husband and I met late in life.
It's not supposed to be easy.
Right.
And we try to distract ourselves from how long it really takes. Yeah. And by distracting ourselves, we, as David was saying, we don't give room for our own passions because life, quote unquote, is so short, or we're educated that life is so short that we don't put time out for what's important to us.
Right. Well, I definitely took the creative path. I met my husband when I was 47, and so my first marriage. And I got to tell you, I'm glad I waited. It was not easy to, but it was always the best choice because, you want to make sure you make a good, solid choice. A lot of people for a long time have, gotten married for lack of a better way of saying it, gotten married for, the wrong reasons. Many have gotten married for the right reasons, but, eventually you figure it out. It took me a long time. My husband and I met at a funeral. The last 15 minutes of a funeral. Yeah, at the last 15 minutes of the entire day, I thought he was just the person sitting across from him.
That's somehow macabrely appropriate.
Yeah. Wild. It was just amazing, and so I'm happy that I waited. But it's a lot of ups and downs and figuring things out and trying different things. So when I say I started my musical career way back when, all the way to now, it's you keep going and it's a journey. And I want to encourage young people or anybody, musicians out there, any artists listening, any creative people and just people that love the arts. Be patient and be patient with yourself and be encouraged because love and life happen all at the same time and it's okay. I can remember 26 years old, a record label saying, "Oh, you're too old." 26? Oh, I'm too old? Really? Oh, okay. It's absurd. Doing a showcase in the city and someone telling me on the phone, and it took a lot for us to get to the city and do a whole showcase, and then she decided to tell me on the phone, well, we're kind of looking for a Britney Spears, but and I said, oh, well, we could have saved each other a lot of time and energy. I said, okay. I said, well, that's definitely not who I am, and she said, no, if we were something like, well, if we were signing, all due respect to Britney Spears, she's lovely and very talented, but this woman said to me, an A&R person said, just keep going, Laurie, you really are talented, I know, and you guys are terrific, and if we were signing, artists like you, that kind of artist, an authentic artist, we would sign you. Like, gee, thanks a lot. That really helps me. And at a time where I really needed, I thought that I needed, the backing of a big record label. I never fit that mold. It's, come on, you can't put people in boxes. They try, but independent artists, thank God, broke out and said, yeah, no, not going to do that. So, I have this little poem. I don't know if you want to go into a poem or a song or anything like that, but
I'd actually like to play the break. So, hey folks, It's the bottom of the hour and time for Dog the Bard, Howl and Toe.
Take no scorn to wear the horn. It was the crest when you were born. Your father wore it, and your father wore it too. Howl and toe, jolly rumble-o, we were up long before the day to welcome in the summertime, welcome in the May, for summer is a-coming in, and winter's gone away. Robin Hood and Little John have both gone to the fair, and we shall to the merry greenwood to hunt the bark and hare. Oh, howl and toe, jolly rumble-o, we were up long before